Chicago, 3.5-point favorite. God, these games are so bad. The Bears, 3.5, 41.5 at Detroit, winless Detroit. These two teams are 3-16-1. And the best is Matt Nagy. I think I read that right, Brother Brian. He was told he'll be fired after the Thursday game.
How can that be right, though? I mean, that's what it said, but how can that be right? If you're going to fire him, how can you possibly fire a guy after the game? You have to fire him before. What kind of shit is that? Who wants to play? Like, I don't know. He wouldn't care. The team wouldn't care if that. I don't get it. It makes no sense. Of course
you wouldn't care. You can have dinner. You can have Thanksgiving dinner with your family, or you can go and only risk downside humiliation by the Detroit Lions, who are winless. What would you rather do? I don't know. If I'm going, first of all, is he replaced by Jason Garrett? Did they just ship him right to Chicago? Is this what happens? I don't know what's going to be. No, they'll just have an interim in there. But if I'm told I'm fired and I have one more game against Detroit, I'm going out swinging. I'm wearing like that banana hammock that right, like Borat wore. I'm forcing Andy Dalton to punt on first down. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this. People forget he'll be coaching the Panthers in 5 years or some shit, right? He's gonna get a job. Who are we kidding here? But as far as the game goes, like I said, two teams combined 3-16-1. Andy Dalton against Tim Boyle. This is like the creamed onion casserole of Thanksgiving games. And you know what? I'm not going to miss a play. They could play with no quarterbacks. They could snap it to the punter all day, and I'm in for 3 hours. That's what's sick about me, Parlay Kid. We're such junkies. Bears beat the Lions 24-14 in week 4. I think Tim Boyle has a few problems against his front seven, even without Khalil Mack. It's Roquan Smith. It's Robert Quinn. But I like this team. I like the Lions. I'm taking them. They did give up 117 to Elijah Mitchell, the Bears did. And Deandre Swift might be the best player on the field, 116 scrimmage yards over the last 4. The Lions defense has played well. They could have pulled it out last week against the Browns at fewer than 250 yards passing in 3 straight games. They held Pittsburgh and Cleveland to 16 or less. Boring game, which I watch every play, won by a Cairo Santos field goal. I'm going to say 21-20. Bears win, but don't cover. Harry, give us your take.
Yeah, you know what, Sal? I know you like the Lions here. I'm going to take the Lions here as well, but I'm going to take them at plus 146. They were plus 162 yesterday on FanDuel, but plus 146 on the money line. This is a spite bet for me. Another spite bet. Spite bets I'm good at. I'm good at, boys. So I'm going to take a spite bet here.
You won that one, but I feel like you've been doing it your whole life and you've lost. Like that might have been your first win.
Spite bet versus the Bears because they screwed me out of $1,000 because I would have cleaned up if they would have won that game against Baltimore. Chicago, by the way, also lost 5 in a row and they've looked awful. And by the way, part like that also, you wanted to make comment in that Steeler game against the Bears when Fields had a great second half, his best half of the season. Nothing good since. So give me and he's toast probably for the season. It's probably be smart too. I'm taking the Lions. Spite bet here against the Bears plus 146 money line Detroit.
Imagine your spite bet. Like you take this Bears. I'm betting the winless Lions. Eat that. Like that's some spite. I'm taking them too,
Lions have, by the way, Lions have covered 3 of the last 4 though.
I know. I think I mentioned something like that. Yeah. No, they're good. They've been tough. Parlay Kid, you're with the Lions too. I feel like this is the easy pick, and like Andy Dalton has experience and everything else, and Tim Boyle didn't do anything last week, but we're all going Lions.
Well, I think you have to respect the fact that the Lions do seem to play hard on a weekly basis, right? At least I'm not sure what kind of Coach Campbell is. In terms of his X's and O's, but I think he can get his guys to play hard, as witnessed by a tie on the road against Pittsburgh, and really in that game the whole way against Cleveland. Even after I think falling behind, was it at least in double digits possibly in that Cleveland game, and still battling back and have a chance to win it at the end. So I think that's something to be said for this Lions team. Like you said, they might have the best offensive player on the field.
Yeah.
And Swift here. I mean, you can make a case for Montgomery, I guess, too. So, but they do battle. And at some point, you think they're due for a win, as Harry's saying, just for the fact, if you look at the last 2 weeks, they're inching closer and closer. The Bears, we don't know really who their quarterback is going to be. I'm guessing it's going to be Andy Dalton.
Yeah, I think they said. I think it's official. We're doing this Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, I think so.
I don't really think that hurts the Bears really for the way their offense is. Mm-hmm. Dalton did a pretty nice job the other day coming off the bench for Fields. But either way, I think that Detroit on a rather ordinary. This is like you said. So this is a bland football game. It's probably a good way you can kind of do your thing, come back to the game, do whatever you need to do, while keeping one eye on the game this whole time. If you have money on it, that's what we're all going to have.
Yeah,
so let's go with the Lions. Let's go with the Lions here with the 3.5. I think they battle and they keep this game close. Chicago just doesn't have enough firepower to put them away.
Brother Bryce probably doing the smart thing. Probably figuring a lot of long drives that result in nothing. You're going under the total 41.5.
Yeah, I'm going under the 41.5. Even though the Lions are 6-4 against the spread, it's hard just backing them. I mean, offensively they are awful. I mean, if you saw Boyle last week, 77 yards passing on 23 attempts and the 2 interceptions, likely starting again. And
TB12.
even with, I know what are the odds of that though? But even with Goff, the Lions have not scored more than 19 points in the last 9 games. So I think, you mentioned that first game was 24-14. I think it's probably comparable. And even with the defensive injuries on the Bears side, I think they're going to be able to limit the Lions here. And to your point earlier, the Lions have actually played pretty well defensively. So yeah, I think this is going to be one of those games. I think we're texting each other during the game. We're going to be getting texts from Alex saying this is the worst game of all time. This is so boring. For sure. It's bad, so boring.
Hopefully he oversees.
It is funny. You brought up a good point about the Dalton punting on first down. That reminds me of our former coach, Scudder, who used to anything more than like 3rd and 8, he would do a quick kick.
Is that right?
Back in the day, in like the 80s, 90s, or late, what was that, late 80s, early 90s? If it was more than like 3rd and 10, he would always like quick kick, and he thought he was a genius from it.
I mean, that's not a good way. There are high school coaches who get praised and get articles written about him for never punting. And then our guy, God bless him, Scuds would punt on 3rd down. All right. Yeah.
So good.
That sounds about right. Hey, Brian, I thought about you. I read Peter King's column Monday, and he was writing who got it seemed like he was going to say that he evaluated the Raiders Bears trade, the Khalil Mack trade. And it seemed like it was going to be like, he's going to go after him and say, oh, the Raiders actually got the better end of this deal. I was like, oh, finally, the article I've been waiting to read. And it didn't. It basically concluded that nobody
won, right?
Well, the Raiders for sure could have. Like it was almost, it's incredible that they screwed it up, right? Like based on like Khalil Mack, whatever. He put up nice numbers and everything. Now he's out. But they really should have. And I guess they got Jacobs from it, right? And Edwards, is that basically what they have of it? But every other pick was just a disaster.
But I mean, well, that's the thing. Their first round picks have just been all disaster. I mean, they've all been disasters for the most part. It's so bad. Oh God.
Hey, you know what? You can turn around a disaster. Go to FanDuel Sportsbook. Enjoy a football feast this Thanksgiving Day by winning $150 on a $5 bet. New customers, this is your chance to gobble up 30-1 odds. Just place your first bet on any NFL team to win Thanksgiving. Okay, guys, we're going to go over the other 2 games. If you could get 30-1 on any team just to win, we'd go Cowboys, right? Cowboys across the board, right? Bears, Lions.
I think you'd have to.
Yeah,
I would.
Yeah, Harry, you know you would. Stop it. Yeah, I guess. FanDuel, sports betting made simple, always hooking you up with great offers. #1 rated sportsbook app in America. It's easy to use, safe and secure. And when you win, you get paid in as little as 2 hours. Sign up with promo code Against All Odds to get in on the action. Celebrate Thanksgiving by winning $150 on a $5 bet on the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, remember to use promo code Against All Odds when you sign up exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. All right, let's, we're not at that game yet because we have to do our first touchdown. We can't leave everybody in the dark here. Deandre Swift, I mean, I talked him up. I said he's the best player on the field. He's plus 650 at a 57-yard touchdown last week. He had 33 attempts 2 weeks ago. Not so many last week, but he had the big touchdown. He had a game with 96 receiving yards. He's really having an underrated season. I think when people were just about to write him off, he has 4 touchdowns on the year. which for the Lions, I mean, you might as well just send them to Canton right now. 4 touchdowns on that team. I think plus 650 is still good value for a team that's a slight underdog with, like I said, the best player, Deandre Swift, plus 650. All right, Harry, you're coming off the big win. What do you like?
Yeah, by the way, Swift also had the first touchdown against the Rams, of all people. He had the first touchdown on that one, so he's had one this year. I'm going to go, you know what? I'm going to go Detroit Lions wide receiver Khalif Raymond at 14-1. Look, guy only has 2 touchdowns this season. Just happens to have both of them against the Bears. So give me Khalif Raymond at 14-1. Take a little shot here.
It's 14 now? It went up?
Yeah, it was 13. Now it's up to 14.
Wow. All right. Parlay Kid, what's your pick? First touchdown.
Yeah, my first touchdown pick. So I'm going to go with the guy who scored a big one the other day late in the game, hooking up with Dalton and Marquise Goodwin, who over the last 3 games, he was 10-1. Well, that might have changed too, Sal. I'm seeing him at plus 950.
Yeah, plus 950, yeah.
But if you, I don't know, I'm looking to say plus 950. It looks like it just changed. Godwin has caught 3 long passes in each of the last 3 games. He's a home run threat. Maybe he feels a little bit more comfortable with Dalton at quarterback, being that he ended the last game in a fine fashion. Looking for him to maybe step up on the fast turf, being that he is a downfield threat early in the game. Let's go Marquise Goodwin at plus 950.
All right. I didn't get to see David Montgomery too much of him against the Ravens, but what do you have? 14 for 50. He's a big favorite for someone who's just getting back to action here at plus 360 to score the first touchdown. Brother Bry, we like tight ends in this spot.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Hawkinson here at 9-1. He leads the Detroit in targets. Last week, he was really the only one Boyle could complete a pass to. And, tight ends and running backs really are the easiest for backup QBs to complete passes to. So last year he had a big game on Thanksgiving. I think he could have a pretty good game here too. So at 9-1, I like him.
First touchdown. Let's do it here. Zeke is favored at 5-1, Gallup plus 650, and then Schultz plus 750. You got 4 Cowboys. Pollard's after Schultz, and then you have Jacobs. He's the first Raider at plus 950. I'm going way down the chart here. Dak Prescott, 24-1. He had one versus Atlanta. Was that a couple weeks ago? I still think he's due on a big stage. I'm screaming. You know how it is, Parlay Kid. I'm screaming for him every week to throw in a designed run, and I think I'm going to get it. I think I'm going to get it early. It's hard to believe with how little as he runs nowadays, like maybe 2 carries, 0 last week. Hard to believe he had 9 carries versus the Eagles. Isn't that weird? That seemed like so long ago. Is that even this year? But I just have a gut feeling that he punches it in. Not much to back it up. Maybe a pass interference. Gallup's held in the end zone. Dak calls his own number. 7-3, 4:51 left, first quarter. Dak Prescott, 24-1. Brother Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going with Dalton Schultz at plus 750. I think that actually just came down to 750. But, the Raiders have been pretty good against wide receivers for most of the year. I think they've limited them from like a fantasy-wise. But, when watching that game against the Chiefs, it's still obvious like tight ends can beat them. They've struggled against them for forever, it seems like. So I'm looking at Schultz, who Dak loves to target, especially with all these weapons out. I could see him having a big game. And if there are props up, I'd probably look at, receptions over or yards over for Schultz as well.
Mm-hmm. All right. Parlay Kid, you're going chalk here, I think.
Yeah, I'm going chalk here. So with Zeke Elliot, I think Dallas, especially if Lamb is not playing, they're missing most likely Cooper as well. I think they take to the ground here a little bit more than they have recently. Zeke does have 8 total touchdowns on the year, 7 of the rushing variety. I think they look to pound him early and often, establish the run game. I think Zeke gets a short one, and we'll call this, plus 500. It's not dynamite, but not bad for a guy who's, got 8 on the year so far. So let's ride with Zeke.
He got himself back in that game against Kansas City. I was worried there a little that we're going to miss a couple of weeks, but first of all, Bryce Schultz receiving yards. What do you think it is? Don't look.
It's probably low 50s.
Yeah, good call. 51.5. So they don't have receptions yet. All right, Harry, go ahead. You have to take the Raiders. You think the Cowboys are going to blow them out, but Jacob scores first.
I do. I think he does at plus 950. Leads the Raiders with 5 touchdowns this year. And 3 of the last 5 Dallas games, the first touchdown was scored by a rushing touchdown against Dallas. So maybe Jacobs gets a touchdown right off the bat. Raiders lead 7-0, and then Dak goes to work against the putrid Raiders defensive lead.
Screw you. We don't need any heartache, right? I'm gonna have indigestion anyway. Let's just get a big lead and that's it, right? Parlay Kid. Enough of this nonsense.
100%.
Right. The night game, Buffalo. Boy, this shot up. Was it 4.5? Now it's 5.5. 46 at New Orleans. I think I checked it like a half hour ago.
I wonder if there was news on Kamara or something.
Out, probably. But you know what? I don't care. I'm going Saints. I'm taking the points. There's not a lot to love about this Bills team. I mean, the preseason Bills, sure, I like this line. That's fine. But Josh Allen's regressing. 9 passing touchdowns, 7 giveaways last 5 games versus 12 to 3. In the first 5, they struggle to score. They can't run the ball against the Saints team who was number 1 against the rush before the Eagles came to town, the best running team in football for some reason. Saints 8-2 against the spread in the last 10 as a home underdog. Kamara or not, I think Sean Payton has his team prepared. Everything's a must win now for the Saints. And I don't know, asking them to cover, not a big deal here. Who dat 24? Bills 19. Yes, 5 is the number, but the Saints win. What do you think, Parlay Kid?
I agree with you here, Sal. The Saints, look, they're lost a couple in a row here. Peyton's an excellent coach. Primetime game here on Thanksgiving night. The Bills have struggled. I definitely think Peyton finds some type of way to really stay in this game the whole way. I wouldn't even be surprised if we see a Saints victory here, Sal. But I will be taking these points. As you said, Allen has regressed. There is no running game to speak of. I think we might see. The only thing that worries me is Allen maybe taking off with his legs, kind of the way Hurts did to hurt the Saints just a few short days ago. But that being said, this Bills team, they just don't look right now. Short week, having to travel to New Orleans. I just think the Saints will do enough to stay in this game, if not even win this game, Sal. But let's take the points with the Saints.
All right, Harry, you're with us.
I am, guys. Yeah, absolutely. Bills, look, their wins this year, very unimpressive. 2 versus Miami versus the Jets and Washington. The one game they won impressively was against Kansas City. Trevor Simeon's been pretty good. At least 2 touchdowns in 3 of the 4 games that he's played. He's got 8 touchdowns, just 2 picks. Tough game last week, but they've had three tough losses in a row for the Saints. I think in a situation like here, it'd be great to have Kamara. I don't know what the situation is right now on them, but I'm taking the Saints here too. Can't back the Bills laying more than a field goal considering the way they're playing right now.
Yeah. All right, Brother Brock, going against us. You think this is where they wake up?
I'm going against you. Yeah. Isn't it weird? I saw a stat that the favorites, I think since 2005 are 32-14 on Thanksgiving. And that includes the Cowboys who have been bad, right?
Like, well, you know what I was thinking?
Haven't been as good.
As we were just discussing this, I'm like, there's always a blowout game, right? So maybe we take as many -9.5 as we can find.
You might be right. Yeah. Those night games are typically somewhat bad too. But I know both teams are desperate here, but I just can't get behind the Saints, especially after the Bills getting blown out. I mean, to beat the Bills, it seems like you have to run the ball a lot. Kamara, we don't know if he's going to be playing. They're without a couple of their top linemen. And even though Simeon's been serviceable, the Bills are still good on the back end. That's the one thing. They still defend the pass pretty well. So I think I'm going to say they bounce back big in this one. I can't imagine it's going to be like this the whole season for the Bills.
All right. It's going to be a fun one. Boy, the quarterbacks in these games, Trevor Simeon. I mean, the Cowboys Raiders is good, but you got the 2 busts in the first game.
Doesn't it seem like we always get like a backup? It seems like we've gotten backup Lions quarterbacks and whoever it usually seems like who the Cowboys are playing on, like Washington was right.
Colt McCoy or something. Yeah, that's always something. Yeah.
Yes.
For sure. All right, first touchdown. I'm going quarterback again. I think between Taysom Hill and Dak, I'm going to get one here, guys. Taysom Hill, 19-1. Signed that gigantic, inexplicable contract a couple days ago. He had 3 rushing touchdowns a month ago over like 2 games. He could also catch one. You know, he does everything. Little Swiss Army knife out there. Wentz had a couple interesting runs against the Bills. Tua had a rushing touchdown against them a few weeks ago. Like I said, I like Hill. I like Dak to rush one in. 19-1 is a big, big number. Parlay Kid, you're going with it too, right?
Well, so I'm going to leave that to you because we don't want to double up on that Taysom Hill
It's fine.
pick.
It's all right.
No. I'm going to go opposite. I do love that pick, Sal. They seem to, they just gave the guy they redid his contract too.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, it's crazy.
I'm sure he's feeling. I don't know what they love this guy, but yet they gotta justify that contract. They got to start using him more if they're going to give him this type of money.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess depending on what position he plays, it's going to depend on how much money he makes, whatever. But Sal, I like the Saints too, but I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills tight end Dawson Knox.
No, he's
at
fun.
14-1.
Mm-hmm.
At 14-1 around. I love these tight ends in these props. The big targets around the goal line. Knox, another tight end who can, he doesn't have to be on the goal line to score, but he hasn't been healthy. I think he's finally healthy. Allen, I think Allen played his best ball when this kid was healthy. I think he looks for him early. Let's get it. That 14-1, pretty good odds there.
Stephon Diggs, by the way, is the favorite to score first here at 7. Brian, right. Maybe I have the wrong quarterback. Maybe we'll just take all quarterbacks, all 6 on Thanksgiving. Josh Allen plus 950. You like?
It's kind of fun. The Taysom Hill one I always like. I mean, Taysom Hill to score a touchdown is usually pretty good. And Darren with the Knox one's pretty good. I think we maybe gave that out. Somebody maybe gave that out that one other game, and I think he did catch the first one, but it was called back on a penalty.
Right.
One of the games. But yeah, but I like.
I had given him out before, got called back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's bounce back with it. Let's go, Knox. Come on.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Allen at plus 950. So, if you watched, obviously, that Saints game last week, they struggled so much against the run with Hurts, right? He had 3 rushing touchdowns. Saints have given up 5 rushing touchdowns to quarterbacks, and Allen has 3 on the season. So this is another one I would probably look at Allen over rushing yards in this game, and then also for the a first touchdown.
All right, there you go, Harry. Finish it off here. First touchdown.
Well, I have Kamara at plus 750.
Well, why are you doing that? We're gonna have to change the graphic to like in an hour. We just knew this. I just checked the score, the line an hour ago, and it was 4.5. Now you're saying it's 5.5. So I know, but do you notice he hasn't played like in 3 weeks? All right,
I know, okay. Well, I was gonna take it. He was great in holidays. He had a touchdown on Halloween. He had 6 in Christmas last year. But let's change it up. Hey,
Kamara's great. He's just probably not playing. I don't know.
So now let's go with the University of Dayton tight end Adam Troutman. How about that? I'll take that.
He's out. He's out.
Oh Jesus!
He's out.
I mean, come on.
He's out. He's hurt. He's out, Harry.
You know what? You're staying with Kamara, and we're gonna put your big fat head by his face.
I'll let somebody else get the. Hey, listen. Why don't I just let somebody else get it? Why don't I just let somebody else get it right instead of myself? All right.
Yeah. Right. Okay. You want to wait till I pick someone, then you take it, and then we'll give you credit. I mean, you take either you pick it right or you take credit for someone else.
All right. You know what? Then how about this? The Saints defense. I'll take it again. I took it earlier.
No, just pick again, one. You're going like the 6
Saints
guys.
defense.
Just stay with Kamara. You're right.
Then the Saints defense.
He's great on holidays. You're right.
No.
Just
7 touchdowns in the last 2 holidays.
I know. He's good. He's good. Joel, what is that? He's great on holidays?
Well, I mean, Hanukkah is early this year, so
yeah,
that doesn't count. No, I knew Harry would go defense after, and that is, he did a ball check, and now we're.
So, what's your official pick, Harry?
Well, I'm changing it to the New Orleans defense special team.
New Orleans defense is out. Okay, no, we're gonna go with that. All right, you get that.